What you're about to watch here is the very last hour of my career as a filmmaker. It's been very nostalgic and a little painful to edit this. I had not edited this. I edited the previous 5 episodes of our reactions to the first season of Lock and Key. But I'll get into why I stopped editing in a minute. But first, just talk my career as a filmmaker. Dad had died a year and a half before this. We recorded this in early March of 2020, and he died in August of 2018. And in the time between there, I had done one project, Book Crushers, which was a web series, for YouTube, and it didn't get the views. And back then, I still had quite a bit of money in savings and everything, and I hadn't yet decided whether I was going to try to assume Dad's medical debt so that I could keep his house. I was self-financing this thing, and then I realized I couldn't do both. I couldn't try to keep his house and also finance the web series, so I shut it down. And then I didn't do anything filmmaking wise for almost a year. But then I started getting obsessed with reactions, and I started thinking, hey, this is something I'd like to do. And one of my favorite channels was the Normies, and I love the camaraderie, like a group of people on a couch watching a show. That's what I wanted to duplicate. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to do it with some of my best friends. And it so happened they were in filmmaking. Danny and Dane, who are in these Lock and Key reactions with me, are some of the best friends I've ever made as filmmakers. They're actors, they're producers, they're also musicians in both cases. Extremely talented people. And I've been working with them for almost 10 years at this point. And they're the only two people who lived in other parts of the state who came to Dad's funeral. Like, there were some people, Dad had a funeral not very far from where John Fouts and a couple other filmmakers who lived close to there. That was an easy ride from them. And I feel like they would have come anyway. I'm not trying to denigrate them. I'm just saying they were close, so that they were close. That's my only point. But these two came from pretty far away. Like, it was over it was a 4-hour drive for Dane, and it was a 3-hour drive for Danny. And I'll never forget the fact they were there that day. It means so much to me. So we were tight. And so, but I wanted to have a filmmaking production feel. I brought in my Jim McQuaid, my AD and DP for so many of my projects. I'd worked with him for many years. And so I brought him in to film it. So it's a professional camera, professional lighting setup, professional audio. We shot it in a hotel room, so because we didn't have a central location that was close to everybody. And my house wouldn't work. I was still trying to renovate Dad's house at the time, so that wasn't going to work. And nobody else had a house that would work. So we shot in a hotel room. The sound wasn't great. I'm not super happy with the sound, even though it is a professional sound setup. But whatever, that's filmmaking nitpicking. But the goal would be we would spend a day every month shooting 6 to 8 reactions, and then release one reaction a week. And then as we started building up this library of reactions, we'd be able to release 2 a week or something, because there's only 4 to 5 weeks in a month, but we could shoot once a month. And Danny was super busy. She had so many projects going on and everything. So I only had her available for 1 day a month, right? And I didn't want to do it without her. And another thing was my best friend Michael was going to also come in for this, and he got sick, so he couldn't show up for this, but he was going to come to the next one, and he was going to watch the first 6 episodes of Lock and Key, and he would join us, and there would be 4 of us. That was kind of what I wanted. I wanted 4 people. So it's going to be a combination of riff tracks. You got 3 people watch the movie, and the normies they often have 5 or 6. That was what I wanted to do with my reaction channel. Book Crushers didn't work, so then I was going to go to reactions. This is going to be a lot cheaper to shoot. Basically pay the DP. I'd pay their expenses, and then I'd give them a cut if I ever made any profits off of this thing. But they were not going to lose money, driving and stuff like that. And of course, I'd pay for their meals for the day, right? And I was going to be able to afford that for a while. I was going to be able to, as far as paying for the DP and everything, I was going to be able to do that for at least 6 to 8 months with the money I had available at the time. And so that was the goal. That was what was going to, that was my design. My original design. And then we all know what happened. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm wrong. We shot this in February of 2020. And we were going to shoot in March. And we were supposed to shoot, I think it was around March 12th or something. It was, I think the only available day that Danny had was Wednesdays, right? So it was the second Wednesday in March we were going to shoot. And Jim asked me if we could switch it to the third Wednesday in March. Because he had this writing group that he attended every Wednesday, and he couldn't make it work because it was like two different directions. And he had missed a couple times because he'd been shooting movies, and so he wanted to attend that. And I said, well, this whole, this thing's happening, do you think we ought to just move it up instead of move it back? He wanted to move it back a week. I said, can we move it up a week? Can we do the Wednesday before, the first Wednesday in March? I had this conversation with him last week in February, right? And he said, oh, it's not going to be a big deal. Like he said, it'll probably be worse then, and then if we wait a couple weeks, it'll be better by then. Like, because it'll have had time to get a handle on it. And obviously he was wrong, but like nobody knew what the hell was going on in late February, the last week in February of 2020. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Like he could very well have been right, like it could, so people were talking about maybe closing it for a couple days, but then, we were talking about waiting an extra week and everything would have blown over. Well, as it happened, by the time that we didn't even get to like the weekend after we would have been shooting, the second weekend in March before like everything was shutting down, it's like, okay, well this is going to happen. And so meanwhile, I'd been editing and releasing the first couple of these episodes, and it did pretty well on YouTube as I remember it. And I was excited to get back to it, and I was like, well, we were only going to shoot 5, and we ended up shooting 6. And we had that little bit of extra in the bank. And I was like, well, what I'll do is I'll split episode 5 into 2 parts. I'll release one part one week and then another part next week. Because I wanted to maintain, because I heard that the algorithm liked the fact if you had regular uploads at the same time, the same day of the week. If you had a regular schedule, they would promote you more. I don't know if that's true or not. I've always tried to abide by that, just simply because if you have expectations of fan base, but also because I think the algorithm likes it. So that was my reason. I would never split a video, one episode into 2 parts and separate it by week these days. I don't think that's fair to people. Like, the more reactions I watch, the more I think that would piss me off. But that's what I did back then. And then, by the time I was getting to upload the second part of episode 5, I realized this just wasn't going to work. Like, we were not going to be shooting anytime soon. I was going to run out anyway. So there's no point in wasting my time editing episode 6. And by then, I was already doing some solo reactions, which, again, was not what I wanted to do. I didn't think one person doing reactions by themselves would be entertaining. I've come into my own with that, and I do, I enjoy. But back then, I didn't watch reactions if there was only one person. I've really come around on this. Obviously, there's a lot of entertaining reactions that are just one person. It just depends on the person. You can have 3 people who are boring, and the reaction sucks, and you can have one person who's very entertaining, and the reaction's awesome. So, you can't make blanket statements. Back then, I was an idiot, right? And so, the thing, shutdown happened, and, long story short, never did get around to shooting any more of these with my friends, And now Danny's moved to another state, and, Dane's real busy, and it just, things still aren't really normal, and I don't have the money to afford to pay a DP anymore, so it's like, this is what I'm doing now, right? So what I've decided to do is I want to finish season 1 of Locke and Key without him. Unfortunately, I really resisted doing this for the longest amount of time, like up until, like, as I record this, at midnight tonight, they're going to release season 2. I waited till the very last second. Because it just, every time I thought about, editing this, I thought about this a couple months ago, I was like, I just don't want to do it without him. But I'm going to, because I like the show, and I never did watch any more episodes. Because I was holding out, hopefully we could get back at some point, We never did. And now, like I said, I can't afford a DP. So that would literally, that day of shooting, February of 2020, was the last time I was a filmmaker. Because I was using a professional film crew with professional actors, even though they weren't in their role as actors at the time. They had an acting perspective, which is interesting, I think, for the reactions. And so what you're getting ready to watch here is the last hour of me being a filmmaker. And it probably never will be again, So, it's very nostalgic. But this intro is super fucking long, so let's just get into this shit. This will feel very weird considering the content I usually put out here. But, if you want to see the first 5 reactions that we did together from posted last year, I've changed the playlist, and I've added Locke and Key as a playlist, and put these on there, including this one. So you can just go, and that should be the most recently updated playlist, and you can go check out the old ones. And then I'll be releasing my solo reactions as well. So without further ado, considering how long the ado has been so far, let's do this. So we finally looked it up, Google's our friend. The guy who looks like Keanu Reeves, his name is Bill Heck. He doesn't seem to be related to Keanu Reeves. So.
And for some reason, I keep thinking Norman Reedus. It's driving me nuts.
It could be the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yep.
Yes. The cousin of Keanu Reeves.
Well, this one's called The Black Door.
Sorry for the waiting.
I have 3 kids.
Department's not used to handling much
Well,
more.
hey, she ain't been supervisor.
No.
Nope.
She can't really pull that card. That's not really private. That's like a corner of the whole massive space.
I'm very sorry about your friend.
Bird.
What would make you think that?
When I was there, the
No, we would have suffocated.
Right? I guess they're thinking he did that to himself. That's a hell of a way to go.
Yeah.
But that's not the message that someone leaves who's
Right.
about to kill themselves.
Right.
Unless they're a
You know what?
prankster.
Absolutely no reason to commit suicide. My husband recently, and Joe was helping me
Section.
try to make sense of it.
That's
Y'all are stupid.
Lee Whedon, have you talked to her?
Sorry, Mrs. Locke. I can't give you any more details.
This dude's in the know.
right.
I mean, if you look at it from the officer's perspective, though, they also still have to take everything into account.
But you have my word. I will be in touch as soon as I know more.
Ma'am, am I going to have to arrest you? I was on her side. Now I'm starting to be on his side.
Well, he does have to do what he has to do. But
Yeah.
that whole hand thing was weird. that.
That meant something.
Whether it did or didn't, don't do that. It's weird.
Yeah.
Did you keep it?
Yeah. He kept the key.
Oh, okay. I thought he kept the freaking jar for a second. I was like, what did you?
Carrying
Why
that
would
big-
you?
big
Let me
bright
just watch
jar.
my dad kill people.
Yep.
Oh, I've written a few extra scenes that I really think will make this thing sing. And Kinsey and I have already shot one.
And how's that? All the equipment's in my van.
Well, Kinsey had a workaround.
I love that filmmakers speak when you're full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, like, I really feel like that music box can only work on things that can hear. Or,
Yeah.
But what if it can work on inanimate objects?
You got a whole
Really?
bag full of memories.
You just took them all.
Well, I don't think there was a ton of them in that yard.
Bother you that you don't remember pieces of your childhood?
Oh, good. This is what she's gonna do.
Think about it.
She's gonna give him back his memories.
Think your brain forgets old
I
memories?
wonder if you open them up, do they just fly out?
I don't know.
Well, you got the head key. You just like toss it in, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Does she have the head key though? Because I thought it's with
It's a good
him.
question. I don't remember. They've been swapping these keys in and out, back and forth.
I thought it was with Tyler.
I'm sorry. This is a bad idea.
What was a bad idea?
That is so creepy, man.
Can you give me a hand with dinner?
Yeah, I'll
So
be
it
right there.
immediately siphons any memory
Yeah.
of. It's an immediate thing. I don't believe it's an adult thing. I believe it's something doing that.
What I would rather be doing.
I mean, you could put that homework in your head,
Yes, you
Yep.
Man, I'd have all A's.
Be there Sunday, right? Setup's at 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Narrator, he didn't make it.
Yeah.
Now what?
I have to show you something.
You always have bad
Yeah,
news.
wait.
She always
No.
takes every
I
day.
really can't.
He's like, just one break. That's all I'm looking for.
We don't know what Dad did.
Sure seems like he killed his friend.
It was a
You
moment.
don't know.
We don't know what happened before.
Don't make me use a music box on
Just
you.
go down.
Done with Dad, I'm done with these evil keys.
Well, give her all that power with the way she is
Yeah.
right now. Bad idea, dude.
That was a very bad idea. You might be done, but don't mean that it doesn't have consequences. What the F? To be fair, he did lose this guy as well as, like he was kind of like almost another father to kind of look to.
Yeah.
I tried really hard to be your friend.
No, I don't really feel like you did. Actually, you.
I
went
mean,
to
we
my
didn't even
house.
address the fact she was in her house and lied
Right,
about it.
right. You went in my house and I don't know what you took, and you've been snooping around, and
The bitch got something up her sleeve.
Yep.
like don't be putting up some tears like.
Wow.
So it does work on. Oh, it works on.
How the hell did you do
Oh,
that?
cool.
Oh, wow.
It's a time-lapse effect.
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but let me be the one to state the obvious here. What's Nephropata doing chasing Amanda through the woods? He's a sea monster.
Go over this, Douglas, okay? He's both water and land-based. No?
That's me when they challenge my shitty writing.
What if we shoot in the sea caves?
I don't.
Oh, don't be scared now.
Yeah. You know, the nickname, the drowning caves for.
That sounds safe as hell.
I've been down there before. It's insanely cool.
You have
it'd
not.
be a bitch to get all our equipment down there. So.
I actually love this idea. I mean, where's your sense of adventure?
Yeah, but what about our
You said
equipment?
yourself you don't want it to look like some cheap hacky.
I mean,
The equipment is a big thing.
The equipment guy trumps everything, you know?
Yeah.
They ain't trying to break their camera.
I feel for this little kid.
Yeah.
Because he's managed to keep his wits about him this entire time, but at the same time, I believe he's the only one with wits, and he's the youngest.
He's definitely the smartest.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Did they ever say how many keys there are in total?
No. I'm gonna go with the scientific number of shitload.
Yeah.
So it stitches things together.
I have no idea. Like,
it'd be really interesting if it like siphons things and people and.
well, you know, like the key that turns into ghost was in a painting. They had nothing to do with painting, so sometimes maybe it's just a random
But
hiding
it was
place.
the ghost
Well,
of
that's true.
Chamberlain.
That's true. He was out there. There was a connection. You're right about that.
How do you be prepared for that which you cannot be prepared for? So, I mean, put on a helmet and let's
Yep.
see if this works.
Just in case I drop dead.
Basically.
Perhaps this is a Narnia situation.
Because this helmet will help me if I drop dead.
Yeah.